Hey y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Squeaks.
Squeak! Oh, hold on, I dropped something real quick. 1 second. Hold on, I put it on pause, cut this out. No. And that's already off to a bad start. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's so extra for an audio.
Squeaks! I was trying to do an R right there. So I just want to say real quick, Frank asked me what this pirate flag was behind me. And this is actually the collector's edition to Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So it came with the eye patch. Like a
So I'm definitely going to edit out that transition phase for the... I'll edit that down, but I'll make sure the full video version is available on our social media if you guys want to watch him do this very cool stagecraft to reveal this pirate patch.
Oh, man.
Oh, bro, that was so extra. That is definitely like dad joke energy.
It's almost like some of these things, which is so funny because I feel like I've done one not too long ago that was kind of like dad joke-ish, so I feel like I got to keep it up.
Yeah, you're nailing it. You used to have that. By the way, you're also drinking out of a Lego mug. I mean, it's all put together. Okay, today we're gonna be talking about Shrek 5. We're gonna be talking about Kathleen Kennedy leaving Star Wars. We got all kinds of new DC stuff and some major Marvel leaks. Plus, we're gonna be discussing Avowed, Monster Hunter, and we're gonna have a very special Daredevil review, hot off the release of that, and an interview with the team from Anime Plus, a brand new podcast coming to the Geek Freaks Network. So excited about that. So much going on today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with that Shrek 5 teaser, the cast trailer. Did you have a chance to check this out?
Yes, very much.
So we have Zendaya joining this, but everybody on the internet's nuts because the visuals look so much different. I mean, even so much is a big word for that. What do you think about the look?
So for me, my when I first saw this, my thought was like, man, technology has come a long way, right? And that's all I took it as. When we started seeing the hate of like how much has changed, I'm like, yeah, I see it here. I think some people are going too far with like comparing the whole Sonic thing. Like, okay, let's speak so loud and they'll
Definitely
have to be forced to change. So like, no, not at all. So I looked at it as more of like just the technology enhancement and how long it's been since we've seen the last Shrek movie. I think if there was like a total difference, I do see like Donkey's like for sure, like with his hair and whatnot, is little not the same to me. Fiona, I think it was one of the big changes too.
I think Fiona's the worst change.
Yeah, like her expressions or whatever makes her look. I don't know. I don't know.
Not cute, frankly.
Yeah, and I'm like, man. Before I'm like, would I date an ogre? You know,
questionable.
But Shrek had some changes like in the nostril area, like forehead and whatnot. But
his eyes are like closer together. He just doesn't look like Shrek anymore. Like he looks like Shrek's cousin. It's been so long, so I kind of want to just give it to him. Yeah. But a lot of people are throwing a fit about this. But then like at Puss in Boots, they changed Puss in Boots design. And DreamWorks' whole animation style has been different lately. So
man, that last Puss in Boots movie was really cool animation though.
The one where he's really like being hunted down by that wolf and stuff.
I actually really liked that one. Yeah.
And they're not even doing that. Like they're trying to stick to like kind of the original animation style in a way.
Yeah.
In comparison to other DreamWorks stuff. But like when you do it side by side, that's one of the things I took away is like, man, the animation style is so much cleaner now. It just looks better. I don't know how to explain it. Like maybe not even as detailed, but they're not like the detailed thing. It's just better version.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it though. I think I'm happy to have Shrek back. I think that's good for the next generation. Because I mean, the last Shrek movie came out. I don't think he had kids.
No, he had kids.
No, you didn't have kids.
Oh, me? Yeah, no. But they're definitely watching it. So so they definitely know about Shrek. Took pictures with my Universal Studios not too long ago. But so it'd be cool to actually take them to movie theaters and experience Shrek like we experienced Shrek for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to bring back Shark Tale. You remember watching Shark Tale? You ever see that with Will Smith?
Yeah. Really? That's a weird one to bring back.
I know, but you know what? I think I can expand on it. It was like a whole shark universe, fish universe, whatever. It's like Finding Nemo, but they all like worked at a car wash.
Yeah, maybe they open up more car washes. I don't know, like whole business. I don't know.
There we go. Yeah, what the hell?
What do you think? I think some of the one of the complaints that I heard, which I feel like is very valid, is what is the story going to be generic with Shrek's daughter? Because we have one of the daughters introduced, and I believe he has 3 kids. And are the other 2 just going to, and what that story, well, actually, what the complaint is she just going to kind of be the like, rebellious one, and Shrek's going to be like, no, you don't need to be like that. And then Shrek comes to terms and kind of meets in the middle type ordeal or whatever. And I was like,
Maybe.
hopefully not, because we've seen that so many times. And then maybe like the other two kids just follow like Shrek and Fiona's suit, really. Another thing that I was worried about when they're looking at that mirror, are we taking this as a multiverse thing? Don't give me
Oh,
no
I hope
multiverse.
not. Oh,
Oh
I
my,
can't
I
do
just
multiverse anymore.
not in a Shrek universe. And we kind of already did something like that too with what number was it? Like four? I don't even know which one this is.
Four, I
Okay,
think.
yeah, four. With Rumpelstiltskin when he signs the contract, kind of goes back
That's
in
right.
time a little bit, and Fiona's like a warrior now.
Yeah, those are all pretty good
Yeah.
though. But yeah, nevertheless, yeah, I'm just kind of I don't want to hear multiverse anymore. My God, I'm so wore out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That mirror thing, I don't know what to. You could take it if you do like a deeper thought of it. It could be a multiverse thing.
I just thought it was like a meta thing, like talking about like kind of talking to
Could
us a
be.
little bit,
Yeah, could be.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Zendaya playing the daughter, she's definitely gonna be the main, like not a main character, but a very big character in this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because it's definitely next chapter to his life, right? So we've only
yeah,
seen him as babies, and now we get to see him as actual, like, you know, cared about characters.
Shrek is back. I remember when Shrek, the first Shrek came out, is when I like had my first job. Well, second job was at Toys R Us,
Mm-hmm.
like selling those old DVDs and stuff like that. It's just been man, time flies.
Man, I was looking at one
Wild.
that somebody was showing off. I guess they had a bunch of them wrapped up still, that's very interesting. The
Yeah,
Shrek DVDs, and they were like, you could win an Xbox, like original Xbox. I'm
yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
God, so ancient. Let's move into some Star Wars news. So we have Kathleen Kennedy who's stepping down at the end of this year. She's okay. So I have a lot to say about this. Well, I don't have a lot to say about this. I have a lot to bitch about this. But she's the pioneer of everything we don't like. And every time, like, I hate to be such a downer on this, but like
Yeah.
every time something good comes out of Star Wars, you always give credit to like Dave Filoni or something.
Yeah.
But every time something bad happens, I only hear Kathleen Kennedy brought up, and I don't know if that's bias or if that's just people being jackasses, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just kind of happy to hear her go because at least with it, we could get rid of some of that negative aura that's surrounding Star Wars right now. And I'm
Yeah.
not even talking like culture war stuff.
Mhm.
I'm just saying like, hey, you guys botched the trilogy, the prequel or the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
The second movie messed everything up.
Yeah.
That's all under her control. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like you have well, first of all, if you have anything negative to really say that something like to this big, then that's bad. Because I feel like you're pretty positive most of the time when something comes out or
I
released.
try to be. Yeah, I really try to be. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's super valid to say like if something negative comes out, then people blame Kathleen Kennedy, right? But a lot of it too is that she is very present and within those negative things that we see her like
Fair point.
kind of like advertising or promoting these things.
Always on the red carpet, always next to the stars. Yeah.
Exactly. I think hopefully we can get back to focus on story more. I think
Mhm.
with I don't know how much involvement, and correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't really seen this and I choose not to really. It just looks horrible. The acolyte, right? Of how
Yeah.
much like involvement she had with it, and then to kind of ruin some of that lore. Like you're dealing with an extremely popular franchise that has an expanded universe before Disney even bought with like novels and video games and whatnot. And a lot of people
Yeah.
hold that stuff dear to them. But one of the big things too is when you start changing the importance of like Anakin Skywalker, right? And I know like
Mhm.
if I remember correctly of what I've heard is that they were talking about how a child was made by Force, right?
Okay, real quick on that.
Yeah, fix me if I'm wrong.
So
if I'm wrong.
first off, she didn't have much to do with the Acolyte because
Okay.
she's mostly a movie side of things, and so she kind of just that was whomever was in charge of Acolyte.
Okay.
That person no longer works in Hollywood. I could almost guarantee.
Good.
But next time you want a Big Mac, you could talk to them about it there. They're working behind that counter. But for Kathleen Kennedy, I think she mostly touched the movies. She mostly did the Rey stuff. She mostly did the sequels, trilogies, and then she did Dial of Destiny for Indiana Jones, which I think for a lot of people is also like, what?
Yeah, that's bad. I still haven't
But the
finished it.
whole,
It's
like,
rough. Yeah.
Force babies thing like that. It was just specifically like there was I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's called a convergence. Like there was a pocket of condensed force on this planet. Like they got it out of there. So it wasn't like, baby Jesus, Anakin kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like we've always learned that it was an Anakin thing. Like that's what happened to him, right?
So Anakin, the idea like behind Anakin is that like the Force willed Anakin to happen. This is like we got this like wormhole thing, and a bunch of witches manipulated it to like impregnate somebody.
Okay.
So it was more like not the will of the Force, and more like we're Force witches is what we do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of. I guess I got the vibe that it kind of took away of like, hold on, this is the one and only, right? But I see what you're saying there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's something where a lot of things, I mean, I'm not going to get like too off the Star Wars with it, that are says and things that's happened that it's almost like Kennedy should have been almost like stepping her foot down a little bit, especially with this race series and like things that were
Yes,
mentioned before with
yeah,
the director and just talking too much. And you're putting that bad rap already, people hating it before your movie. And that's a symbol of like maybe, yeah, you might agree with it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's
right.
the right. And but it's
It's
come on,
bad
man.
stewardship, right?
Yeah,
Your job is to usher this franchise that has grown, that has taught us so many things and stuff like that. Your job is to usher it while you have the stewardship over it. And she didn't do that very well, in
yeah,
my opinion. I think she did. I think she let things fester. She let changes happen that
yeah,
were obviously detrimental to the trilogy that you're building. Look, that's her fault. And whomever takes over, which I do feel like from what I'm hearing from people on the inside, stuff like that, it is a Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau are going to combo run Star Wars going forward. Of course, I'm very excited about that.
yeah.
There are people who are not. There are people who are like, well, at least you try new things, and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are just going to make prequel stuff and Clone Wars stuff. Which I mean, yeah, that's
Okay.
fan fiction for me. Thank you.
Yeah,
But there are people who are not happy about
yeah,
that. So, you know, I just think that Kathleen stepping down is the right move for a new generation of Star Wars.
yeah.
And we have a couple movies on the way. We're ending off this Filoni Mandalorian world,
Mhm.
and we don't know what's coming next. So I think that might be the right move, just so that we don't have this like negative connotation and people can go in with a little bit more of a positive vibe. It's already going to be hard to have new Star Wars movies that are going to have Rey in it, and people have such a bad taste in their mouth from those movies.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Rey the character, but the movie storylines. So if you could kind of chip away at it, like removing Kathleen and stuff like that, I think it might give people a little bit more of an open mind going in.
If one of these two take over the as president or do this combo thing, what do you think that happens to the Rey movie?
I think there might be some shaking up. I think if they do get Dave and John in there, what's going to happen is they're going to say, look, you need to make sure this movie is cohesive with the rest of Star Wars, not just a sequel trilogy or even something new.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to use the word Skywalker, but there does have to be something where established rules, as in like, Force ghosts and things like that, those have to be implemented. That's something that Dave does, is he like establishes new lore, and he uses George Lucas as kind of his idol for that. Like he's went to George for stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need is something like that. Somebody be like, go in and like, you don't have to say the word Skywalker. We get that people are trying to like phase that out, but you still need to not just invent new shit that's going to negate everything we did beforehand.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. And that's one thing that Dave really tries hard, is to not negate anything that's already been established.
Yeah, and I feel like that's honestly like the fan in him, right? So to even like have that communication, like I have the ability to talk to George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, like and kind of get his inputs or whatever, and that maybe that's something that's needed again. I'm not saying to bring him back or whatever they want to do, but maybe, like why not talk to the actual individual that created this universe and get his input on things? And I feel like, and now it's in the hands of someone that's really passionate and that's a fan of Star Wars, and maybe we could actually, hopefully that passion hits us in the face when we're watching on the screen.
That's why Clone Wars works so well, is because he worked in tandem with George on that and saw what
Yeah.
George's vision was for the prequels, and furthered that out, like with bringing Darth Maul back and stuff like that. That's all stuff that he worked in tandem with George Lucas to do, to really flesh it out. And there were things where George Lucas pushed back on him and he wanted to do, and it was like, good, that that push back and forth, that discussion needs to happen. And when you have somebody, I hate to just keep pushing everything on Kennedy, but it feels like she would just let it happen, and it's like, no, there's established laws. Don't just kill Luke Skywalker like a stupid way or whatever.
Or
By the way, guys, I want to make sure to make it real clear. He's still got the fucking eye patch on. So if you're the entire time we're talking, I'm still talking to Pirate Squeaks. So just so you're all aware of what's going on my end.
I'm a Yakuza now. Okay.
So wild. I didn't even know you'd play that game. That's nuts. I don't know anybody who played that game.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played it yet. I literally just came in and
just got the flag.
Yeah. So I'll be playing it this weekend.
So we got DC and Marvel news too. Let's move into DC, and I want to start off with something light. We have our first image, and it's first image of Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart from the Lantern series. You are Green Lantern, man. What are you pulling from this image?
Not much. Okay, so
fair enough.
So yeah, but what I did pull for the image of them two just walking alone on a street, like cool. It's not like anything cosmic at all. So way to go with the first image.
Yeah,
is that we have a rough looking Hal Jordan and the clean looking Jon Stewart, right? So what I saw out of this was like, okay, experience, really. So we're not getting like day one Hal Jordan, which we already kind of knew anyway because it's the Green Lantern
Yeah.
Corps. So hopefully something that's actually established with like, the other characters like Guy Gardner are going to be in Superman, and then obviously Jon Stewart with this one. So there's establishment there. A long time ago, I told you what I was really hoping for was Hal Jordan kind of doing his own thing and creating his own ring. That's a little bit too much right now, but I don't think that's too far off with what I'm pulling from this image, just because it almost looked like Hal Jordan is just fed up and he's kind of done. So I'm hoping we maybe get to that eventually. But that's really all I can see with this thing. I mean, there's not much to really tell. Like, I mean, is there? I was even thinking of like, well, his jacket's a little wrinklier, like so. I was trying to get anything out of this, but
I know. I'm like, is that
really
a flight jacket? Then that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but not.
Yeah, and then
really
even
much.
his jacket looks like something you'd have on a construction site. Well, he's an architect, so there's all kinds of things there.
Yeah, what do you think?
One thing I will say, first off, we do see the ring. Like the ring is actually on Hal's finger.
What?
You didn't notice that? Well, see, you're covering one of your damn eyes.
What it is? That's what it's.
So you can't see shit.
Yeah, you're right. So that's snuck up right there because I'm looking at we're looking at two pictures. One's a little zoomed in.
Jon Stewart's in this too. Let me move my eye patch over. Hold on.
Oh, son of a bitch! Yeah, you're right. I gotta zoom in on that thing.
We do have the ring. I think it looks pretty good for what we can see. I've zoomed the hell out of that thing before. This does look like a worn down and beaten Hal Jordan. So what I kind of want out of this story, like I think the easiest way for them to do this, because we also have Guy Gardner in this world, so we know that like Green Lantern is well established. I want him to be in the beginning lost. I don't care about the I do care, but I'm kind of just whatever. I'm ready to retire. And then through the process of this series, regain the will that he needs to be amazing Hal Jordan again.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he sees like, yeah, I got Jon Stewart. He's the backup. Jon Stewart now kind of assumes he's going to be taking over for Hal because Hal's kind of getting beaten up. Maybe even the Corps told him like, watch out for Hal. He's been through hell and back. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, this is wild, far out there. What if this is post like Parallax Green Lantern? Green Lantern who's already done like crimes and is like, I'm struggling with this like PTSD of me killing Green Lanterns in the past.
Maybe I see that like you're pulling for it, right? Because he does just look worn down. And hopefully we're not saying all this and that's just how he looks, right? We're like, man, you look like shit. So, like, oh man, this is my best.
They're filming early in the morning. That shit happens.
Yeah. But I could definitely see that now, right? Like, because obviously Jon Stewart looks like he's well put together, and and you get the Hal Jordan vibe, which like I've been through this so many times, I'm kind of exhausted from it. And he's looking like it. So, man, that'd be an interesting storyline too, as well. But hopefully, we're not getting a Hal Jordan's a beast. He's a Justice League motherfucker, right? I don't want to see him just bitching and moaning from previous
If he's not part of the Justice League, I want Jon Stewart to be part of the Justice League, but I want Hal Jordan, like you're saying. Okay, white ring or whatever ring. Yeah, I'm going next level up. I am Hal Jordan. And there's like two different directions he can go. He can go white ring or whatever he needs to do. Yeah. Or again, he can go like that Parallax, all fear and, touch of the yellow side, whatever it is. Yeah. So we have two versions of Hal there. They kind of retconned all that where he went on a killing spree. And it's a shame because that's kind of an important, I don't know. To me, I always thought that was a really interesting part of him is in the 90s when he went and like, and so like the entire time he's always like, yeah, I'm Hal Jordan, I'm amazing. But there was this one time where I was the biggest villain for Green Lantern. And it wasn't a multiverse version of him. It was our Green Lantern that did that. And so there's always that part where it's kind of like living with your demons. But they retconned it. And that's just DC like wanting to sell more books. And that sucks.
Yeah, I like that idea though. If Jon Stewart was going to be a Justice League member and then you got Hal Jordan, putting his own will into the ring and becoming this Green Lantern god type thing. Like, that'd be cool too, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that. As long as we get Hal Jordan, a proper Hal Jordan. That's all I care about.
Yeah. So, and they got a good actor for him too.
So. Yeah.
Let's go over some of the other DC announcements. So we have confirmation Robert Pattinson's not going to be the Batman for the DCU. We are getting Batman Part 2. Sounds like we're getting Batman Part 3 as well. Oh, but we're getting Brave and the Bold. It'll be a completely different Batman. I think this is needed because I think the other Batman needs to be in a world that Superman exists in. So while Metropolis and Gotham do like shadow each other, like they're opposite sides of the spectrum, right? But there still has to be like, you can't just, I don't know. There has to be a way for those to fit in the world where Superman's over here. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you?
Well, yeah. I mean, a very comic book like, right? Like when Batman and Superman are together, you don't get the Gotham feels almost all the time, right? But you get the Gotham villains. And I'm not saying it's like super Metropolis feels also, but it needs to be something in the middle because then it just seems like can those two worlds coexist on a big screen? Or will it just look a little too funky or a little too dark, maybe like the Snyderverse, right? But there is like this colorful Gotham feel in Metropolis when you're reading like what's that World's Finest? That Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy pops up and it's just like vibrant and bright, you know? It's definitely different. So they got Pattinson, I just with the super well established Batman, I feel like I really love that Batman
I agree.
movie. I don't know if he would transition very well even himself to be in that universe. So it makes sense maybe to bring a different one in.
I fully agree with you. Yeah, I think he does good for that like noir detective, very gritty, the Penguin universe too, right? The Penguin's in this universe with him.
Yeah.
That fits for him. And so the other Batman, I almost want him to be like this Batman too. He's also kind of like lean and like is definitely fisticuff, might lose a fight. I want the Batman that's going to be in our other universe, the Brave and the Bold, to be this big hulking monster version of Batman.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Not like the absolute Batman. That's just stupid. But somebody who could like really hold his own and actually see like one-on-one with Bane. And he's also going to be the father Batman. He's going to have Damon Wayne by his side. Nightwing's well established. So this is also a Batman who's been at it for a while. Frankly, I hate to say this because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of him. I liked his fighting style, but Ben Affleck Batman, I think, is the Batman that fits best in
You
this.
literally beat me to it because I was going to say Ben Affleck Batman was that badass that was just fighting everyone, and especially that he even showed off a little bit of how much he could take too, and like that quick Flash movie in the opening, which I'm not going to talk about Flash at all, but him in it. Kicking ass, hopping out of cars, whatever, being drugged across the street. That's cool. I mean, I like that. So, one image I was going to say, which I can't find, but it's the, like, you ever seen the old Batman where, he is buffer. He's kind of meaner, like in the face, it's more square. His symbol is that what it is? Okay. I was going to say that might be one, right? Because, the absolute Batman, like you're saying, is folk Batman. So,
and he's got a Joker by his side. Whenever Frank Miller's there, the Joker one with him too. Or not Joker, I'm sorry. Robin. That would work. That would be really
let's see it.
Now, speaking of the Bat family and Nightwing, we're going to be getting a live action Teen Titans movie. Not sure if it's going to be considered Teen Titans or just Titans, but this is a good cast of characters that, like Raven, Starfire, like this is such a great cast of characters that for some reason has not really been getting that live action movie treatment. I think this is a slam dunk, and it's like, have this going alongside your Justice League. Justice League could be this big, serious, epic things, and these could be kind of a funner, a little bit more lightweight, maybe a Guardians of the Galaxy, but maybe a little bit darker. I don't know. You could do something different with this.
And we got Damian helming that now since he's on Brave and the Bold, or what's the plan?
No, this is it's gonna be Nightwing was what it sounds like. It could be Damon, but I don't think so. I think Damon's gonna be with.
I'm just curious of how much if we're gonna mix the put together already. Since it's
it'll be probably one of those things. Like one of the classic moves is that Damon's doing something too far. He doesn't like him and Batman are always butting heads. Yeah. And then his older brother comes in basically and says like, "Hey, trust me, I know he's like this, but that's actually him telling you he loves you," kind of thing. That's a classic line.
Yeah. Then I guess we'll start over with Cyborg. You think too as well?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to introduce him? Okay, Teen Titans.
I mean, what a perfect place to introduce him. Really, Cyborg. Yeah, that's a great spot for him.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
And we can get more Themyscira too. It'll be really good.
Yeah.
Supergirl is filming now. It's being described as a gritty sci-fi film, and apparently Jason Momoa says spot on Lobo. I want one image. Show me that.
Yeah. Because just to jog my memory, that's confirmed, right? Like he's gonna play Lobo, because I know he was really excited about what's coming in the future. Okay, and I know that was like the hinted thing, and it made it seem like that's what it was, but I just don't recall if I saw something like, he's Lobo.
The trick with it though is because it's sci-fi. They're filming it all indoors on stages, and so we can't see what he looks like. A lot of times when they film outside, like we had shit from all these
Superman
different Deadpool movies or whatever immediately.
Yeah.
But this one we can't. Rick Flag Sr., who we just saw in Creature Commandos, is going to be the bad guy for Peacemaker Season 2.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch Creature Commandos?
Okay. I haven't finished it, no. I was enjoying it when I was watching it. But the wife's like, you can't watch this in front of the kids. I was like, this is all the time I got. Okay.
She's not wrong.
She's not. She's not. Seeing these cartoon characters try to like fuck each other. But but
try. They're successful.
Well, I haven't got to that part then.
All right, it's episode 3.
He's like, yeah, I really have that on replay. No, but that's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that he's gonna be the bad guy, and the same voice actor is gonna be the actual actor in it. He's the one from, gosh dang, why can't I ever think of anything? Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier. He's in that movie too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're gonna
that'd be cool. Yeah.
We have the release schedule now, or the release, strategy. So DC Studios is going to be releasing 2 live-action films and 1 animated film per year, and 2 live-action series and 2 animated series per year.
Yeah,
that's pretty extensive for like starting the studio anew, basically.
And I brought it up to you, and I just hope that and I'm going to say the way I said it was that hopefully they're just not saturating this universe already right off the bat and just feeling like it's too much. And some of the stuff is like, I really want to watch it, but then it's like, okay, it's a cartoon of Starfire, right? I think is one. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, what's the feel of that? Is it going to feel like a Miss Marvel where I could just totally skip, not care, not for myself? But I do love these characters, so that's a thing too. That's like, okay, maybe this is something I can just put on, and maybe that's what it is, and maybe that's why I'll enjoy it that way, And
like Teen Titans, like we love Teen Titans so much. A lot of us were introduced because of the cartoon. And so that's how you get the kids into DC and expand your entire brand.
Yeah. So I'm curious if the stories are going to be pretty deep or not deep. You know what I'm saying? That's
a good point. One thing that they did say, both Saffron and Gunn said that they're prioritizing well done scripts over the schedule. So if the script's not right yet, they'll say we're going to delay it just so you know.
Okay.
So I love that they're putting that out first, because take another year, take another 2 years. As long as this thing looks good and you guys don't botch it, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if they're going to do like this, where it's like, hey, up front, it looks like a kid's show, but when you go to like something like Clone Wars, where, man, some of these stories are deep,
That's true.
So I'm curious if that's something that they'll do with these animated films.
I bet there's like that middle ground, because like I think Rebels, Clone Wars, I think they've decided to do that after season 1.
Mm-hmm.
When Rebels, I think off the bat, they were like, this is going to be for like a teenager. It's not too young, not too old.
Yeah.
And it'll just keep adding to the stories or to the characters, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
A couple other things. Yes, everything else is in the works still. Waller series is put on the back burner, but it's still going to be, somewhere out there. Things like the Swamp Thing is on hold until James Mangold is done with everything else. They want to make sure he's the director for it. So they're not going to even start production until he's ready for it.
So
there's a couple things that are kind of like that.
Waiting for the right person for something to make sure that it's right. But the Waller thing, how do you feel about that? Because me personally, I have enough Waller. I feel like Waller's been just slammed in us with the same kind of like storyline. When I saw Creature Commander and I saw Waller again, I'm like, why is Waller literally in everything we do in the DC? Like, I'm talking video games with Suicide or Justice League Suicide Kills, whatever. And then just the last Suicide Squad, but then the Suicide Squad before that one, and then some, like I said, the animated show, but then anime movies.
Even in the comic book, she's part of the evil trinity that's doing the whole absolute stuff. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's one of them with Failsafe, and I forget what the other one is. But like, she's everywhere right now. So I could use a couple, like a year or so without her.
Like, oh my goodness, like I get it. She does one thing, okay? Like in every
she's like evil Nick Fury. We all know what's going on.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like every time I see her, it's just the team gets put together, and then she's like, "I got a bomb in your head." Like, I fucking know, okay? Yeah.
That being said, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think, is trying to do it, but Marvel could use like that just one evildoer that's kind of just never gonna die and is always around. Even at the end of Creature Commandos, like she finds a way to. No, that's not evil. No, I'm sorry, that's a comic book I just read where she found a way to blame it on somebody else who survived. I'm sorry, I just got to. Comics. But yeah, I mean, DC could use that. I mean, sorry, Marvel could use that, like that character that's just kind of like constantly pushing stories from the bad side.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking Marvel, because I did that quick, clean transition.
You did. Super clean.
These leaks, man. Have you had a chance to look at these leaks? This is like some insane leaks here.
Oh man, talk about that person. You're done for the rest of your life, right?
You're fired. You're gone. He got leaked.
Oh,
he got hacked. But still, you're still fired, man.
Oh man, but okay. So what? Yeah, what do you think? So you're saying he got hacked?
That's what it's apparently he got hacked. Yeah, it's actually one of their normal concept artists, and he was. I mean, like you wouldn't give up your job, and he was hacked.
Damn, that sucks.
So from these leaks, everything's posted on our website. It's all posted online on our whatever social media channels accounts. But let's just kind of go bit by bit. So first off,
let's do it.
I am so excited about God Emperor Doom sitting there with Sheriff Strange next to him. Yelena's got, Mr. Fantastic in chains. It looks medieval. It's Latveria from Battleworld. It just looks so incredible. This is as comic book I think I've seen MCU try to go.
Oh man, and you know what I'm gonna say? Like the little close up of Doom.
Yeah,
we're on Zoom. Doom. I didn't think anyone was making good visuals except Marvel Rivals, and I was like, this Doom looks dope. This Doom looks so dope. I don't see Robert Downey Jr. playing this Doom. It looks that good, and then I'm not saying no discredit to Robert Downey Jr., but no, man, this seems like on a different level. So.
I kind of think he might not be playing Doom. This is wild out there.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't think he's the only Doom. I think we're gonna have him be like a Doom and then just get nuked. Like I think he'll be the Doom that falls to God Emperor Doom. Like,
okay.
Because he's trying to go for all the Beyonder powers, right? And so maybe in that process, they're kind of gonna borrow that Kang storyline that they're trying to do, where Kang, their one true Kang, takes out all the other Kangs. Why don't they just let Doom do that? And he takes out all the other Dooms, and one of them is Robert Downey Jr. So we have Robert Downey Jr. like doing some like masterful saying, and we're like, here he goes again. And then all of a sudden, Cillian Murphy playing Doom just like shanks him in the back, and he drops down. What an oh shit moment that would be for everybody.
Man, that would be amazing for the fact that too, like Robert Downey Jr. has been doing this for so long. How much longer does he have in him? So it could have been a trick, like we think that's going to be it, and then. Oh man, I like that idea actually a lot more.
And RDJ's the kind of guy that's just like, you're gonna cut me a $20 million check just for that one bit, but also he's down for the screw rounds. Like he's currently developing like Sherlock Holmes, and he's making his own franchise out of that. So like he's busy. He doesn't necessarily need to be Doom for the next series of movies. And if you're gonna be Doom, sorry buddy, you're tied up for the next 10 years because he's too important of a character to be Thanos away. So.
Exactly, yeah. He has to be something that lasts a lot longer than Thanos.
I just want to jump in real quick. Actually, while I said that reminds me, God Emperor Doom, in the beginning, like when we see Doom, that version of Doom, he kills Thanos by taking his skeleton out. So what if instead of Thanos, they do that to a different version of Doom or something like that? So there is kind of precedent in the comic book of him kind of doing that.
Damn, that's cool. I like that. Now, I've seen it take people taking like seeing the characters in this image, which is fucking phenomenal because I can't even picture all of those. Like you're like, hold on, how do you see that? But what do you think of some of these older characters? We're talking about Robert Downey Jr. What about Benedict Cumberbatch playing Strange? Do you think this is going to be something that lasts longer as well? I feel like some of these older characters that's been in for a long time, it's almost like their time to go. So is this going to be the wrap up series? What do you think?
I think Strange can be relegated to the senior in the room. Like he's the only one that knows about it in his universe. But with Secret Wars merging all the universes, I think he'll be put on the Illuminati level, where we don't need to see him until it is an Avengers event, not an Avengers movie, but an event. And then we have like, whatever the other Avengers doing things from day to day. Yeah. So something special like this, where he's playing Sheriff Strange, that's cool. Okay. But we don't need him to have multiple Doctor Strange movies. As much as I enjoy them, we don't necessarily always need them. Okay.
So on the next one, what do you think? We're going to talk about this Hulk one.
Let's talk about what's it called? Greenland or whatever they call it. Like it's actually a place of just Hulks. Yeah. And so we see Hulks in the background. It's basically Shrek 5 again. But I will say, like, what a glow up on Scar. Scar looks crazy better here than he did at the end of She-Hulk. Yeah. So that I'm happy that they kind of addressed it. Just some facial hair is what it looks like they did, but that was sweet. That looks good.
Yeah, they look good. Costumes look good because it gives me like that Planet Hulk type World War Hulk feels. I think an attitude adjustment needs to change for Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Well, it looks like he's still smart in this, doesn't it?
That's fine, and I'm fine with that. But he's such a bitch. Like, I just don't like it. And for me, this Hulk just doesn't look like that type of character. So hopefully there is a shift, like some leading type Hulk. But then I could see like Scar is maybe he's being too aggressive, and maybe that's like the clash that they're having.
I like that idea.
Maybe Hulk's using too much brain, he's using too much brawn, like someone meet in the middle. So maybe it'll be forcing Scar to like hey, yeah, let's fight, but think a little bit. Looks like he
Yeah.
has. I can't tell if he's like no, that looks like the art. If it was something that it's coming out of him, like there's this line coming out of
To
his
me, it looks
stomach.
like an arrow. Like
That's
he's
kind
running
of
there,
right,
telling him like, "I just got shot. We're
right?
being attacked."
Yeah, okay.
Because then Mark Ruffalo looks like he's worried. Like a regular Hulk looks like he's a little worried.
Yeah, yeah,
That could
yeah,
be something. One of my favorite. This is such a small detail, but off to the left side there, you see like this little kid Hulk.
yeah, yeah.
Who's
Crying or something.
raging out. And what if he's like, you know how like Hulks can Hulk out basically? What if that little kid's like hulking out?
Oh man!
And so the mom's trying to calm him down, like, please don't destroy the shop again. I can't pay for that.
I mean, it could be a thing where it's like to the people, right? Maybe the people have a differences of like how Hulk runs things and how Scar is like maybe going on his side. Now for She-Hulk, one of the odd ones that kind of semi enjoy the show.
I literally just edited the clip of you talking about that in the last time you were on, yeah.
But really, I'm actually kind of just a She-Hulk fan, really, and I feel like there's more that they could kind of really explore this attitude. It feels like that's coming out of this picture,
right?
Not this lawyer business one. I think this is the She-Hulk that I would love to see in this universe, and I feel like that's an attitude adjustment too that's needed with the previous She-Hulk from the series. So, what do you like?
She has kind of these gauntlets on that looks like she's the brawler of the three of them, right? Doesn't she look like she's the fighter? Like the way she has these gauntlets on?
She looks fierce, and it's almost like she's either that or she's this like middle ground where it's like, hey, Hulk, we have to take action here. Or, hey, Scar, stop being stupid and running in there. And then maybe that's what always wins her, and she's like that grounded person for them. I don't know.
Off track. I want her to be a duelist so bad in Rivals. That'd be so dope. Like you could like Hulk out, that you get extra damage. That'd be that'd be really cool.
I could see her just not hulking out in Rivals and just being the standard as the Hulk. You know, like there's no transformation.
I'd declare that because we don't need that gimmick the entire time. Yeah,
I think already hear enough of Hulk screaming throughout the map.
Oh god, for real. And then let's move on to, we have way more Star-Lord than I would think you would expect. So we have this really weird one where it's just Star-Lord and White Vision like sharing a DiGiorno's pizza and drinking way too much beer on his couch.
You're
What's
very
the deal with this?
Pizza.
Because that pizza does not look good, bro. That's not a pizza that they got. Nobody delivered that shit. That's DiGiorno.
Because this almost ruins like, hold on. So White Vision found his way? Because we don't know anything yet, right?
I assume if he's hanging out on the couch, probably sleeping on that couch at Star-Lord's grandpa's house, that means he didn't find his way. Well, and he's like, man, I miss Wanda.
Okay, and that's a good way to pick this too. But it's almost like there's when I look at this, I'm like, okay, that's a big ass chunk that was that skipped, right? That we got to this point. And that's like, obviously this is a massive leak. So now I'm extremely curious of, maybe you're right. Maybe like the series that he try to do something, didn't work out so well, and now he's back in this neighborhood with Star-Lord. But man, that's not definitely what I was expecting to see White Vision in like just the hoodie and some sweats or whatever, chilling on a couch.
It's weird, man. And Star-Lord's missing Gamora, so he's kind of like, yeah, man, my chick's gone too.
Man, I really like how you've been thinking about this picture.
Trust me, dude. I got to do TikToks on this stuff. I've been looking at it too much. Speaking of Star-Lord, he's hanging out with the Young Avengers here at like what looks like a space bar. We have what's his name, Dupe, the weird alien dude on the corner.
Yeah,
Miss Marvel, Wiccan. We have Speed, but I can't tell if that's a specific actor or not. We got the whole crew, Lang and Hawkeye. I like how Miss Marvel's like looking at Wong like, wow, you know magic. Like she's kind of dreamy over him the way she is for like all other superheroes, which is because she's an MCU fan. She's a Marvel fan.
Right. Yeah.
So this just kind of giving us our Young Avengers. I can't wait for us to actually get something with this team.
So is that confirmed? Is that confirmed Speed? Because I was thinking, wonder if like Wiccan found his brother finally.
That's what I mean. Speed. Oh, is Wicked? Yeah, that's his brother. Wiccan's brother is Speed.
Isn't it Speed? You're probably right. I'm right. Okay.
I think so. God, now you got me questioning myself.
I don't know. Shit.
But I just don't recognize the actor's face. That's the thing. I'm looking at him like, I don't really recognize it. It could be some like Disney kid. You know how these Disney kids.
Yeah, maybe someone new. But so you think Star-Lord could be taking up this helm of leadership, like give him a purpose because he is maybe coming from the couch. He's like, I'm such a bum. I'm just eating this shitty ass DiGiorno's pizza all the time. Well, it's not really shitty. I like DiGiorno's.
Dude.
But now you give him a purpose.
You're so smart, man. You know what it is? He is the leader of this. Would it be cool if he was like the leader of these kids in the same way? Final like Skeleton Crew a little bit, but like, you know how when he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Hulk was there or Thor was there and the whole time was like, is Thor in charge? Am I in charge?
Yeah.
if he still has that complex, but here it's a bunch of kids kind of like running the show, and he's just like, guys, I'm in charge, damn it. And he's trying to always put his foot down.
Yeah.
Wong's the one that actually has an authority, presence in the room.
Yeah, I see.
I don't know. That could be fun. That would be interesting to see. I don't know. Now I'm kind of getting sold on it, actually.
And it kind of gives them, it'll probably give like little flashbacks to that feel.
That's for sure.
It'll probably give them like some type of feel or whatever, like, hey, this is like the new Guardians to him, like this random group of oddballs,
Yeah. So. Yeah. Lastly, we have our new T'Challa. We got a new Black Panther. Again, I can't recognize this actor. I'm not sure who this would be. What are your impressions?
Not really. One, nice to see T'Challa back, right? Like the plans of having like I don't want to say real, but a proper like Black Panther. I'm going to say right from the second one.
You're right. We want T'Challa. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Shuri, great job in kind of like taking care of things for a second. We want T'Challa.
But it's definitely like a mixture of like the old 80s Black Panther, right, with the cape and all.
Yeah,
you're mixed with something that looks a little more flashy and modernish. So I really like how they're keeping that culture still into this Black Panther. But it looks great. Looks great to me. I mean, I like it.
It does have some old school vibes. Maybe even like maybe it's not T'Challa. Maybe it's T'Chaka. Maybe it's like the dad and his time traveling stuff.
See, I thought that too, but I didn't think they would go that far. But yeah, and since
I don't think they would. But because the cloak is so different than our normal one, that does not look like vibranium, like that nanotech vibranium thing they do. That looks like he puts that cloak on.
Yeah. Not that I'm like fully checking them out, but even in that crotch area, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't look very vibranium like skin tight suit.
Yeah, great point. So, and then I don't recognize the statue behind him as seeing that already in Wakanda. So this could be a multiverses version. This could be because again, we're going to be smashing all these worlds together. Like obviously Battle World is a very chaotic place and there's multiple worlds that are coming together. So that could be a different one, but that might be how we get our new T'Challa. And it might not necessarily use the kid necessarily.
Kind of looks like a Power Rangers like Megazord or something,
If he rides that, if he gets in that damn thing, if we see him do Morphin Time, I'm not going to hate it. That would be awesome.
Probably wouldn't be mad either. But when we see the Panther run, it has to look like the little tiny like toy like robots that they did in the original Power Rangers.
Like janky, like the legs just move and stuff. Oh,
imagine like it goes from like this like amazing multi-million-dollar CGI to that.
Oh man, that'd be great. So many cool things, guys. Let us know what you guys thought about these leaks. Clearly that dude's fired or whomever.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like back up your files. I don't know. You got hacked. I feel you, but still, like you are so fired.
Man, I just want to say, that dude, man, it's so sexy of him just like sitting there on the chair.
Perfect.
Wow.
That's what's crazy is it's freaking perfect.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and start doing some of our reviews. So we're going to be reviewing Daredevil after this, which is going to be recorded later on with Thomas. So keep that in mind. But let's first get into some video game reviews. And I want to start with Monster Hunter. You've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah. How is it? How long have you been playing it? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so how long? Let's see. I'm a couple hours in, a couple monsters deep with the story. And man, I am just having a blast with this game. It's so, awesome. And I think it's just like the simplicity of the game. Really, where it just feels like almost like a Shadow of Colossus, an old game where it's just like,
God, that's your favorite game, I swear.
Really. Because there's nothing to it. You just go look for the monster, you come back, reap the rewards, and you do it again. I mean, campaign is basically how it feels to unlock certain monsters to repeat that monster and kill it again. Cool, right? It kind of shows off of how far you've gotten with the campaign. And I don't know because I'm in that still, but that's how you kind of feel like when I'm playing online or multiplayer. I could only go up to a certain point of what I've seen. So that's kind of nice. So I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point where someone's been past me yet and I've joined their game because I'm very much of like, I just want to experience it myself and then play with others that are kind of like on the same pace. If I could jump in that, which I'm assuming I can, that grind of killing monsters and reaping the rewards of like weapons and armor. And even for your little Palicue, whatever, cat. That's with
cat,
you.
Yeah.
So it's just like a World of Warcraft to me. You just grind, and your rewards and the visually the way you look,
style, then.
Show like, man, you're putting the time in when you're looking at somebody.
Does the combat still hold up? Because I think that's one of the highlights to a Monster Hunter game is how fluid the combat is with all the different classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Do you feel like that's holding up?
yeah, and I think the combat's actually kind of complicated at times. It's like
Okay.
a little learning curve to it. And that's kind of
Hmm.
what I almost like appreciative of it. Certain weapons are the ways of like uh, of and how you're playing, right? I'm playing with others that are like super speed, like dual wielding swords, and he's going
I
super
see.
fast. And I'm
Yeah,
the
pro
person that
berserk.
likes
Yeah.
the staff with like insects, and I'm shooting insects to gather like the source to make me more powerful. So it really feels like it can bring like where veterans will come back and enjoy it, where newcomers may be like, hey, this is kind of tough, but the feel of me wanting to look up and master that weapon class or whatever it is and learning it is rewarding.
Hmm.
And I've been in kind of like in that curve lately anyway because of playing like Wukong and Elden Ring, where it's like my play of understanding or horror games is
Yeah.
satisfying to me now. Which I'm not
Yeah.
saying this is a hard game, but there's definitely a learning curve when I had to use your character because some of the game feels like it kind of throws you in, like, hey, yeah, press the pause menu for this. I'm like, okay, but there's like so many fucking different functions in this. Like, you're not
Yeah.
even, like, what do I do here? And I think that's the satisfaction of like going out and finding others that can provide that information. You're like, oh, this is cool. This is what I learned.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so the combat's difficult, but there are some settings that people say that can kind of help with that. So I'm like, oh yeah, that'll actually like help me out a little bit because I need to
That's
be in
fun when
this
you
mode.
get that. Yeah, kind of like sharing knowledge and
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
makes you want to find new ways to improve. Yeah.
yeah. Because the game, for how simple it feels, you're going out, you're hunting a monster. I like this little, I'm gonna say it, like chocobo type thing from Final Fantasy. You ride on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels so nice. It's always you could always put it on an auto run, and that's what my favorite thing because then I'm like looting things. You can kind of like latch onto things that are in the distance and hook them and grab them while your
Hmm.
chocobo or whatever is running, and just even like the chase down of a monster. You're like, okay, you
Yeah.
go, you find it, you beat the shit out of it because it did nothing wrong to you. I'm just gonna kill this thing. But to see
Yeah.
that motherfucker, like, oh, it's hurt, but it's running away limping. It just, yeah, it's super satisfying to like have this massive beast in front of you. You're like,
That's always been a big highlight. Is it
yeah,
feels like
yeah,
it's so daunting, but you're jumping around all over it and you're
yeah,
outmaneuvering
yeah,
it. Sounds like for you, a lot of you're like putting a lot of dots on it, kind of like this
yeah,
mass
yeah, yeah,
confusion over it.
yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. It's just fun and it makes me want to play some more. And it's taken me away a little bit from other games, but not like too much.
Yeah.
But it's just fun. It's just the fact that these um fights can go so long because of like you're beating the crap out of this monster, right? And it does run away, but
Hmm.
it's so that's all. I don't know how to explain it. It's just fun. The chase is fun.
The chase is fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your daughter just walked in on you and you're
Yes.
wearing a freaking eye patch on. What are her thoughts on this?
What's your thoughts
What's the
on
matter,
me wearing an eye patch?
Daddy?
She just woke up, so she doesn't have any thoughts.
She's just like, you're weird, Dad. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Any story,
Okay, shut the
or
door,
is there
baby.
not really much of a story to Monster Hunter games?
So there is a story. There's this lost child from the specific clan tribe, which I guess that gets
Yeah.
pretty much ran off. It's one of those things where it's like go save yourself type thing from this other monster, which looks like maybe
Right.
an ice dragon if I recall right. But it's
Mhm.
all about bringing this child back and trying to find this clan. Nobody knows about this clan, so the clans are like a little mysterious, right? When you ask
Yeah.
around from like other tribes that y'all ran into, they're like, we don't know what you're talking about type thing. So it's always like trying to place this missing child back. So pretty simple.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's really all I got so far with the story on how
Okay.
far I am. So, and that's fine because I think the fun is like cool. There's a minor story to it, but I'm here to kill a beast.
I've never played a Monster Hunter just because I never really have been interested in playing them.
Yeah,
But you're really selling this one
it's
pretty well, I gotta
so
say.
fun. There's so many different weapon classes, and that's what changes the game.
Yeah.
It's just fun, man.
It feels like it's rewarding.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get a grade for this then. Our score, yeah, out of 10. What are your thoughts on Monster
Yeah,
Hunter?
so because of performance issues, that's the thing. I've scaled down to
That's
like
yeah, that's been
performance.
going out there a lot
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
I've scaled it down, which I just can't do it no more because it looks like a fucking PlayStation 2 game to
Yeah.
performance mode only. There's like
Mhm.
a I don't know the terms they use, but here's like, hey, really good graphics, medium, and performance, and I'm a very performance person, but that performance
Mhm.
mode, I'm in a world and it just does not look very good.
Yeah.
So when I go back in, I'm gonna change that to like more of a balance. So that's a big deal. I'm okay with the lack of story, so I'm not going to dock it for that. Because again,
Mhm.
I'm having a blast with this game. It's
And
just
it's not really
it's just
designed for
fun.
heavy
Yeah,
story.
it's just
Yeah,
so
yeah,
fun to repeat the monsters. And at one point, I stopped story just to kind of get a full set of armor, and it almost feels like, oh, now I'm really strong for the story, kind of
yeah. Oh,
vibe.
that's always rewarding in an
Yeah,
RPG when you're
right,
like,
right.
I'm gonna do the side quest, and all of a sudden like, let me get through this shit. Yeah,
Yeah. So because of those, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10.
that's solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 8 out of 10. Yeah, Monster
Okay.
Heights.
All right, let's move on to Avowed then. Avowed is the other game that we're reviewing today, and it is a classic Western RPG, very much Skyrim, first person. It is good, but it feels like first off, it's lacking in the budget a little bit. Not a lot,
Okay, okay.
but you could tell like with the cutscenes and stuff like that. Like, okay, you guys went with the affordable route, which is fine. um, I think kind of like Skyrim too. Like Skyrim, I think I just got so used to it that I don't recognize it anymore. But in a new game, I do recognize it. I'm not having fun until I find the weapon I've been wanting to play. So
Okay,
bow and arrow.
okay, okay.
But like in the beginning when I'm using an axe, I'm just like, this is so daunting. This
Yeah,
feels cheap. This
yeah,
feels clunky. But then when I get my bow and arrow, okay, back to it. This feels good. Um, though, world itself is very gorgeous, very brighter than
yeah, yeah,
expected. And I think again, it's the story is fascinating. I actually like the story quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
This idea of like being touched by the gods or whatever, and like the fungus stuff and everything like that, which I've toned down a lot on my character.
Yeah, I did
Um,
too. But then, like when you're playing it, you're like, oh, I kind of wish I did a little bit more because now you
yeah,
know the story. But at first, I'm like, that shit looks ugly. What the fuck? But now,
it's crazy.
yeah,
In
it's
the beginning,
crazy
like they
ugly.
really should like let you like choose to kind of like let it grow or I don't know whatever.
Yeah,
I
something.
just have like underneath my eyes hella chill,
Yeah,
but but yeah, I think the story's good. I think the world is very beautiful. I think it is kind of limiting. It puts you more on rails than I would want it to. I'd like to have like a fully explorable world
yeah,
completely open. This feels like it's more on rails. And I feel like the combat is limiting. I think it is very much 2010 combat, which isn't terrible, but we're in an era now where like Dragon Age, Veilguard exists, and Monster Hunter Wilds exist, where like there has to be a version of combat that's a little bit faster paced, I think,
yeah.
and more visually appealing too. The combat's not visually appealing at all. It is just watching numbers go down.
And
I don't
maybe
know.
that's
What are your
maybe that's
thoughts
a
with that?
difficult thing for it to be a first person game like this to have like
That's
more
fair.
fast paced combat or something, like kind of like you're looking
Great
for.
point. Yeah. Yeah, because like Bioshock and stuff like that, like they can't really get very much faster. That's not really what it's designed for. So
Yeah,
that's a very
stuff.
valid
Yeah.
point on yeah.
I think you're spot on too with the weapon choice that you want to actually feel like, okay, this is awesome. Because my thing was like, I'm gonna be fucking Harry Potter in this bitch, right? So I was waiting for the wand and I got the book,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, you can switch weapons, and then I have like a sword and a shield just in case whatever happens. But I
Hmm.
choose to rather just like dodge and move around and use that wand because that's just the play style I wanted. So what it's
Yeah.
definitely more satisfying when you put the time in and you now like for myself have like multiple spells. I got more like the mana, I guess you could say, so I could start using these things more without drinking like these mana potions.
Hmm.
And that's fun. But yeah, you're right. Like until you get that, you're kind of just like, oh, I'm just swinging, you know, a common sword
Which
around.
feels clunky when that's not the thing you'd like to do in those games.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
me, it's like it sucks it's forced me to do that one. Like I think in Skyrim, I could like the first town you go to, you just find somebody who has something and you just take it
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
good. You have that weapon now. Yeah.
yeah. But I would say like this definitely feels and what was that last Starfield? And I said this to you before.
Yeah.
This feels an upgraded, newer version of a Skyrim game. It feels the same, looks
Yeah.
the same,
I see what you're
whatever.
saying.
But at least like this feels like an improvement. Feels like it's 2024, 25, whenever.
My thing with
Yeah,
I actually really love Starfield. Like I no joke, I completed the campaign. Like you know how you complete the campaign, you become
yeah.
basically like you star. I think I hit 20. So
Wow, 20 like
recycles.
what?
Yeah.
Damn, that's
To the point where I'm
crazy.
like walking in, like you know, like there's that one part where like you go to the mob
Yeah,
boss, you can go. I just walk in, pop him in the face, like boom, 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 boom. I was so clean, dude. I was like just walking amongst the stars, owning that
you're
shit. So I
basically
really
like
like Starfield, but I recognize that it is not a Skyrim or Fallout. It just isn't that kind of like
yeah,
mechanics, but it is very unique in that way. But I
yeah.
loved that game.
I mean,
Yeah, I had like the best ships and all that stuff.
you're
Yeah,
like the Hal Jordan in that image. Like I've been through this shit. I'm
very
right.
much so. Yeah.
You put a decent amount of time in it, Vowed? Would you say?
Yeah, about 6 hours probably.
Okay. Is this something that you'll like continue
Probably
to
not.
pursue? Oh,
Maybe down the road. I mean, like right now, I just got too many other things going
Yeah.
on, like games to play and stuff.
yeah.
Civilization, I still haven't touched it yet,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
And like I'm still on Marvel Rivals, and
Yeah.
you know, I gotta carry my noob friends on Marvel Rivals. Not you, but like, oh man, I was not to just totally off track, but I was playing with Daniel and all his friends, and like, I'm like, guys, like I'm in gold or whatever, you guys are all bronze.
Yeah.
So when you guys win, you gain 30 or 40
Yeah.
points. I gain 3.
Yeah.
And then when we all lose, you guys lose 30 or 40 points. I lose 40 points.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not moving in the right direction with you guys.
Yeah.
So I played with them one night and just dropped 2 ranks, and like I've been building that back up. And
Oh
it's been
man.
rough, but
Yeah, I'll have to start playing by myself a little bit to catch up to where you're at. I think, and I hate to say it because I really was enjoying Avowed.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter, man. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Like I want you there with me. That's what I'm saying. Like
I
buy
will
this
say
game.
with Dragon Age Veilguard, which I'm still playing right now, so I'm doing like every side quest in that game.
Yeah.
I'm doing every side quest.
Mhm.
It's because I love the combat so much. It is a
Yeah.
blast to play.
Yeah.
So then when you go from that fast-paced combat to Avowed, not that Avowed's combat's bad for what it is, it just feels archaic and slow
Yeah.
compared to a game like that. It's hard to go back and forth like that. That's just not
Which
good
is a
comparison.
crazy shame because Starfield is the reason why I bought an Xbox. And then Avowed I was really getting super excited for, and it was the same feel of a game, right? What is I know they're getting a little sidetracked from the review, but what's it gonna take for Xbox to be like, this is the banger, you know?
I think they're getting there. They just got to
I
keep
think they're
releasing
close.
titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just got to keep releasing titles. Like we're right there to buy Gears pretty soon. And
Yeah.
what is it that they are developing something? I forget what it does, but I was like, oh, that is a missing corner that they don't have. It was a FromSoft like game. Shoot, I can't remember what it is. But they're pulling. Oh, Ninja Gaiden. I thought like Ninja Gaiden, if they were to kind of like lean in on the From Software side of things, that's a missing corner for them.
Yeah.
So I think Xbox is gonna get there. Did they stumble? Yes, and they landed on their face. But they're getting there. And I'm an Xbox guy, so I kind of have faith in them anyways. I'm so happy with my Xbox purchase.
Yeah.
But I mean, there ain't no doubt the PlayStation won this console war.
Yeah, and
this generation.
I'm happy with it too. I mean, I do enjoy Avowed. I did enjoy my time playing Starfield. Yeah, but it just seems like every time there's something that's released, like Avowed, it didn't do like the greatest already. But again, that whatever. I enjoy Avowed. So what's your kind of like a final thought on this?
Yeah, just real quick on that. What I think I'm seeing out of Xbox more than PlayStation, and it's a lot of that Game Pass, is that like it's okay if it doesn't hit really good like when it first comes out because we're building this insane library.
Yeah.
So like that's a great point with like I'll go back to finish playing Valhalla whenever I want to on the Xbox, which doesn't feel like that way with PlayStation. I think with like God of War when that came out, the sequel.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta play it and finish it right away because of course I'm going to. But then it's like, okay, PlayStation goes away until I play the next big game that comes out. I don't think I'm revisiting older titles on the PlayStation like I do on the Xbox. That might be something that they can lean in on.
That's good thought. And I like that you're saying they're building this library, right? Because right now I can already think of games that I would play on Xbox. I mean, we just said Starfield, Avowed, and Indiana Jones, right? So that list is growing. I guess it's just not hitting that spectacular, like everybody's talking about type thing right now. So,
not the blockbusters, that we're getting out of Sony.
Yeah.
Okay, so my score for Avowed is, I would say a strong 6 or a weak 7. I'll stick with a weak 7 right now. Yeah, where are you?
I was literally going to say a 7. Yeah. Because I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm having a blast, and I'm playing like whatever. But it just feels like the older games, really.
Yeah, and I'll go back to it because I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've beaten Skyrim over and over again, so I'll definitely go back to it.
Yeah.
I keep hearing rumors. I know that they are working on a Sky Oblivion. Like, there's a company working on that, but they're also thinking about remaking Oblivion. Oh God, take my money so fast! I would love that.
Neat.
And that's that combat. I mean, it is literally Avowed. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's going to be. And I have some friends, like Scott's a good example, where they are such big Bethesda fans. I'm going to tell them like go play Avowed. Obsidian, we all know it's a good company. We know Avowed's going to get the support it deserves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it someday. I won't be pursuing any more of it for right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's our reviews for the games, guys. Let's head into our Daredevil review with Thomas. All right, we are now here with Thomas. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again. What is your initial impressions from the first two episodes?
Oh, baby. They knocked it out of the park. We are so back. And I didn't think Marvel was dead by any means, but we are so back. What about you?
And I wasn't sure if like the MCU I mean, I know like technically the old Daredevil was part of the MCU as well, but I wasn't sure if it would fit quite well on Disney Plus and stuff. And I think they showed us that, oh no, we're here and we're going to go full R-rated. We're going to give you that Law and Order vibes you get from like the Matt Murdock side of things. There's plenty of Daredevil in it. And I there are definitely some things I want to bring up about like editing. Like there's clearly like shots that were done afterwards and they do feel a little bit out of place, but I think those shots are the things I'm most remembering now. So it was a good move that Bob Iger came in and was like, no. You got to fix this. I think it worked out well. Kevin Feige, I think, was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, because how many times was this show rewritten and like redone, right? Like at first, he really wasn't wearing the suit. Also, Foggy and Karen weren't in there. Although, we'll talk more about Foggy and Karen in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was the right move to kind of start off with that because it'd been really confusing. If you remember from season 3, the ending, they're all together. They're sitting around the table. They're all having drinks. Yeah. He writes in, Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige. So, if you didn't start that way, you'd be pretty confused, I think, if you had just watched those. We're following now.
Just to start real quick, we're going to be spoiler free on this, but if you guys want the spoiler filled version, we're going to be also covering every episode on Challenge Accepted. So join us over there right now. Link will be in the description. But that's where you get the spoiler filled one. So for spoiler free, yeah, I think that the Foggy and Paige stuff were definitely filmed later. We know that for a fact. It feels that way too, but it's so rewarding in the episode. And if they weren't added, we would be definitely talking about where are they?
Right. 100%. I mean, I'm trying to think of what show I mean, it was like Captain America. It was completely a Captain America movie, but everybody was still like, where's Hulk? Where's Bruce Banner? It's like, I don't think we needed him still. Would it have been cool? Yeah, sure. But I don't think we needed him. But still, that was the question that was going around everywhere. And for sure that would have happened here. It would have made no sense unless they really had to explain, like, Matt was such a dick, he drove them off. And you're like, that wouldn't have really made sense. And that really wouldn't have put a good feeling in us as the viewers watching this new series of Matt Murdock and where he goes with Daredevil. So I really liked it. I think that they got the vibe right in this. To your point, the violence is up there. It is brutal.
Holy cow, yeah.
We got some John Wick level damage going on. And Matt is taking a licking. He is still one of the toughest dudes in all of Marvel. As like a quote unquote normalish human who doesn't really have super strength. Man, that guy can take a beat down. That was rough.
No, there was a certain part where I was like, I don't think the nurse is part of the season, but he needs that nurse. Yeah. Episodes.
Yeah, he needs a night nurse for sure.
Night nurse, there it is. I'm sitting and racking my brain trying to think of that damn name.
Yeah.
So in the first episode, I feel like the first episode's pace was pretty quick plot wise, and it needed to be to kind of like set up this is Born Again, not just Daredevil. We go from Fisk setting up a plan to executing that plan by the end of that episode, and something that you would think would take all season. It was in one episode. And I think that. I do too. And I think the connective tissue between episode 1 and episode 2 is that, and this is non-spoiler, but I'll just say, in the beginning, they're both like, hey, we're not Daredevil, we're not Kingpin anymore. And by the end of season 2, you're still like, bullshit. You guys are both still Kingpin and Daredevil. And you're trying to steer away from that, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's like, it's too much a part of who they are. It's like Batman is still too much a part of Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But yes, I love that they didn't kind of tiptoe around it, right? Like we got right into, is Fisk mayor or not? We saw it in the trailers. And, I love it. There's a perfectly good explanation for how he gets there. It is well established. He gets it right off the bat. I think there's even a wink and a nod to Echo, which again, I will not be an Echo apologist. I like a lot of that show. I still think it's pretty good. And they give the wink and nod in the diner scene. And I'm like, all right, hell yeah. And it kind of works in that conversation too. I mean, I think it really, really does. And so it was nice, the pace that they moved, but still, these weren't short episodes either. I thought maybe, we're getting a short season. We used to get like 12 episodes or even 13, I think, for the Defender saga when it was back on Netflix. And so, we're only getting 9 now, but they still made it an hour. and they filled that hour.
I will say the second episode feels like what they intended, because if you think of the second episode plus 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes that was definitely reshoots. You're like, oh, okay, so the hours because they added 15 minutes to a normal episode. So I think there's something there too, because if you look at that first 15 minutes, I'm saying that multiple times, guys. I'm telling you seriously, the first 15 minutes of this new series, it might be some of the best things that Marvel's ever done. It's so tightly shot, rapid paced. It's the most Daredevil I've seen Daredevil be in live action. But that being said, after that, I think we get to what they wanted, and like I think the intro, again, avoiding spoilers, but in the courtroom scene, I think it was kind of meant to be the intro to this, being like, oh wait, I know that name, and it kind of unfolds there.
Yeah, the first 50 minutes is interesting because it is an MCU-ish Daredevil in some ways too. This is the most acrobatic we've seen him, and
Absolutely.
you know, I love me some acrobatics. Like this is the reason why everybody loves Spider-Man. Swinging around, he's flipping, he's like effortless. Well, it's that, but not like he feels not super strength. He feels like he's still bound by the rules of gravity. Like he's not Spider-Man who could like jump off a building 50 feet in the air. You know, like he's swinging around, he's doing some really cool stuff, but he still seems human in some ways. And I love any type of traversal scene, especially at the end of like Spider-Man No Way Home when he gets the classic suit and he's like running in the snow and just jumping over the building and stuff. Like it's so dope. We get some of that right off the bat, and we see how Daredevil is able to kind of traverse the skyline of New York. And Hell's Kitchen, yes. And it's smart too. They kind of line it up in a way where it allows for a big bad to kind of get in there and F some S up.
Yeah, and some of the stylistic shots or aspects of shooting, we had like when he hears something, which we don't have it in the later episodes when it happens again. But I think like, okay, this is a thing that they're going to implement for future aspects of him. They changed the aspect ratio of the camera when he's hearing something.
Yes.
Yeah, which literally is like, oh, he sees more than us, and like Daredevil, perfect.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I loved it. I literally had to rewind it. Christina wasn't really watching. My wife wasn't really watching with me, but I was like, watch this. Yeah. And not only that, I looked at it as like he was kind of tuning it in, like almost like a scope. He was trying to scope it in. So like the mirror or the aspect ratio comes down, gets fine-tuned to the section he's really trying to listen to. I was like, damn, that is such a
Doesn't it do the opposite? Because it's always down and then it widens up, I thought.
No. It goes wide to I don't know, skinnier with the black bars when he tunes into foggy outside and he's trying to pinpoint the sound, right? He starts hearing the radio, he starts hearing car noises, and he's able to kind of find the range. And then it's like at its lowest. And then once he kind of snaps out of it, the screen goes back to full. It was like, wow. And also, not only that, though, it's kind of what they've been doing in Severance. There's kind of a dolly zoom to it.
Yeah.
And there's almost like a fishbowl look.
The elevator scenes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, damn. That's so cool. I give tons of credit to them too in this show already. Like the score has been phenomenal. We just finished John Williams month on Challenge Accepted, so I'm very attuned to scores right now. They are killing it with the music, even updating the intro song a little bit. But damn, that's sick. And then the just the noise, so we can kind of understand what he's listening to and how much information he has to take in and how he kind of tunes things out. I thought that was so sick. You could just
they are giving us information the same way he would receive it. Like there are scenes when he's following a guy and the sounds that you're hearing is like a muffled New York, but a louder footstep. And it's like, that's how he hears it. And then what I really like is at the end of episode 1, it's a very chaotic New York I don't want to spoil why, but it's crazy. And it's such a cacophony of noise that you're like, oh, he can't fine tune anything right now. It's all chaos. You even see him like, just like, fold up his walking stick, like I'm not even gonna pretend anymore. I gotta get home. And it's like New York's kind of like falling apart around him, and it's the way it sounds, like it's all the same level. As in, like I can't tune into any of this right now because it's just chaos. It broke loose.
Yeah, noise, like pure noise. Yeah, I love it. Man, yeah, I want to talk about some of the last shots in that, but yeah, I think people have to hop over to Challenge Accepted to get into it. But seeing them back together, I mean, there is something just truly magnetic about it, right? It's Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. It's Christopher Reeves and Gene Hackman. I mean, it's like there's this good and evil aspect to them that they're just so those characters. And every time they're on screen, it's just an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. They're just so good.
I ended up throwing it up on Threads because I was watching. I was like, it's like they take up all the camera whenever they're on every scene. So when they're together, it's like one of them's trying to push the other one out of the scene for some reason. Like it's just they're constantly grinding on each other, and they're just too magnetic. They're just such amazing characters, and Charlie Cox, God, I'm so happy to see him back. Damn.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. He has the full range of emotions, and he's like charming in this. He's angry in this. He's happy. He's mad. Just everything. He has that full bag, and he kills it in it. I love me some Charlie. Wow, I almost don't want to say the last name because that would have been weird to say I love and then finish with his last name. So
and I'll edit it out too. I'll make it fit.
yeah. Not gonna say it. That.
Let's get a score out of 10 for you then. Out of this, the first.
I'm gonna go with a strong 4.5 out of 5. Is that what we're doing, or 10?
10 for Geek Freaks. We do that for our challenge.
That's challenge accepted. You're right.
So I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. Yeah, I dug it.
I'm a real strong 8, almost a 9. I think some of the obvious shifts from pre-shot and post-shot, stuff like that, like that can be smoothed out and stuff like that. But it's such a good start, and the tonal shifts from that first 15 to that second episode, where the second episode's like, oh, okay, this is what they meant the show to be.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to recognize that basically. So I'm giving it a solid 8, but I cannot wait for next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you there too. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. You're right, because there is a little bit of a it's not a drop off by any means, but there's like a change of pace in the second episode. Absolutely. There's a change of vibe. So 8 out of 10, really good, but it's like a high 8 out of 10.
Yeah. All right, guys, for the full spoiler breakdown, head over to Challenge Accepted right now. Links in the description. All right, let's head back to our normal Geek Freaks. All right, that was our review for Daredevil. Now we have our interview with the team from Anime Plus, brand new podcast in the Geek Freaks Network. They discuss all the news in anime, and then they also break down different hard-hitting topics in the industry of anime. I want to introduce you to Array and Own, two of our new hosts in the network. You're going to be hearing them on Geek Freaks here and there as well. So let's hear more from Array and Own. And today we have a brand new podcast joining the network. I can't wait to share with you guys. It's called Anime Plus. Here are the hosts. What we're going to be doing today is going over the industry of anime. I know it's a real weak spot for me. I'm sitting there. I'm still watching Brotherhood Alchemist and stuff like that, some of the older stuff. So I'm not up to date on the new stuff. Introduce yourselves, and more importantly, tell us about Anime Plus.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ari. I'm one half of the Anime Plus podcast. So a little bit about the podcast is we mostly focus about anime and other stuff in the industry. So we do manga, we do sometimes live actions. We like to go over everything, even though anime is so broad. So it could be anything from like cosplaying. It could be like voice actors. We actually had one come on to one of our episodes not too long ago, and other cool stuff like that. But yeah, that's just a little bit about the podcast. And then we cover news too. That's like our other side of things.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll introduce myself really quickly. My name is Owen. I'm the other half of the Anime Plus podcast. Just to, piggyback off of what Ari was saying, we cover everything anime. So we have 2 segments. One is kind of a personal segment where we'll go over articles, give our opinions on anime, kind of let you guys know what we're going to watch in the new seasons, and just give insight on our opinions on anime in general. And then the second kind of segment there would be the new segment. One thing I kind of want to add here is we do take 2 perspectives in terms of the way we view anime. I would say A-Ray's kind of he knows more about anime. He watches more anime. He knows more about manga. So he comes from a bit more of the like facts, details, and
insider info, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I come from the more casual kind of aspect where honestly I don't do too much research. For the first couple of years of me watching anime, all I was watching was shonen. I wasn't even going into any of the isekai or slice of life, or I was literally just fights. So then kind of A-Ray opened my eyes to so much more in terms of anime, and I take that approach where I feel like a lot of our audience, some of them they they're just like me, where they don't know too much and they're trying to understand more, and then some are like A-Ray, where they know a lot and they're just trying to get more of that, high level information. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing at Anime Plus. And then last thing I do want to add to that is our whole goal at the end of the day is to build the biggest anime community ever. So definitely, join the Discord, follow us on Instagram, follow the socials. We try interacting with everyone, and our whole goal for our Discord is to connect like-minded people. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, as long as anime and manga is that central point. We could all kind of chill and vibe together.
Your guys' Discord is fire. I gotta say, holy cow, y'all got a community over there. It's awesome. Love it.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of our guys, they've been there for a while now, and they're pretty much our homies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have been recording since 2021, correct?
Yeah. At the end of 2020. Yep.
Yeah. Over that time, Owen, have you learned anything from Array that's kind of like changed your perspective on an anime? He's that insider. He's got the little cuts that you don't know about. Have you embraced some new things because of that?
Yeah, 100%. So I was the type to just never. First of all, I never knew dates. Like, okay, this is coming out this time. This is coming out this time. Like, I never knew the dates of anything. Also, I just like I would only get my information from like Instagram or TikTok, right? So that was the only type of information I was getting, and it would always be like 6 months late, and I'm seeing this like new anime. I'm just going ahead and watching it, and then it was also again never watching like other genres. So ever since starting Anime Plus, like I've started watching sports animes.
Oh wow!
Just like I never watch sports anime. I barely watch sports to begin with, and I'm out here watching like sports anime. I watch like a couple romance, even though that's kind of not my thing. They're like slice of life, isekai. Like I've started getting into a lot of these other genres where it's not always fighting, adventure, and stuff like that. Where it's more chilled out. And there's other aspects. There's other aspects to anime than just fighting and animation and adventure. And that was kind of like the only thing I was introduced to. But since now we do the podcast, I get the news every week, and it's like it's as if I'm like a viewer of the show, because I'm getting all this information firsthand on the show, pretty much. Yeah,
it's such a fun dynamic, though. Is there anything, Array, that you want to share to somebody who's not very familiar with anime? And then also, what is it that you find like the real hardcore anime fans want to talk about the most?
All right. So what I would say to the first part of that is, firstly, there's a spot for everyone in anime. Like whether you're like we'll call them casual mainstream watchers. Like typically that would be like shonen. Like
that's me right here.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's my Demon Slayer. Those are like the biggest ones. You know what I mean? Like
Demon Slayer's so good. Yeah.
those are like the main ones. Like you can be still in the community even if you watch just that. Then, like we talked about earlier, like there's like hardcore fans, and I don't even say I'm part of that. There's people that do a deep dive. They go into the like everything, like from the animation studio to like watching every single seasonal anime that drops. So the way anime works is like they have different seasons. So like it'll air like 12, 13 episodes, and then that season's over and new one starts. And there's maybe like 40 to 50 that come out every single season. There are people that watch every single anime in that season. So that's like what I consider a hardcore. You can be that, or you could just like, I know Owen talked about this before in one of our earlier pods. We went to he went to a convention, and there were people that were just cosplaying and they've never even watched the series. So you could even not even, you know what I mean? Like you don't even have to be an anime fan. You could just like the series or that particular character. So that's my answer to the first part.
It's funny you mentioned that, because now that I'm thinking about it, anime has such a cool art style that you might just vibe with the way somebody looks and then want to portray them, and without actually knowing all the details. So that makes sense with anime specifically. Yeah. So going into your guys' podcast, Anime Plus, again, 2021, what was the decision to start a podcast about anime?
Okay, I'll let A-Ray take over the first part, because he's actually the guy that started it all.
Yeah.
So I'll let A-Ray take the first part of this.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people coming off COVID didn't really have anything to do. I think I started up like two different podcasts with some of my other friends. We were doing like basketball. At the time, I had zero experience with podcasting, didn't know anything. We had like 6 or 7 people on it, and we were just all kind of talking over each other.
Oh, God.
And then, yeah, it was terrible. So then one day I hit up Owen. I'm like, dude, we should do an anime podcast because we talked about this before, but like we call it like our origin story. We both went to like a boarding school, and the first question I asked him was, "Yo, do you watch One Piece?" And he said, "Yeah." So then that's how we kind of started talking about anime. So he was the first person I thought of, like that I got to start an anime podcast with. So we had zero insight or like any idea where it was going to go. We just wanted to start one. So that's kind of how it started off.
I was gonna say, like, I'll say it from my perspective, and just to like that whole boarding school situation, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. So, A-Ray, he's already been there for like a year or two, at the school. I'm coming in. I'm the fresh guy. I'm the new guy coming into the school, and then I get put into his class, right? And I have no friends at this point. I don't know anybody, and I don't know, out of nowhere, one of the first conversations we ever had was about One Piece for some reason. And like, I'm the biggest One Piece fan ever. And then as soon as I knew that he watched One Piece, he knew I watched One Piece, boom, it was locked in. It was locked in from there. Like, and I appreciate that so much because when you go to a new school, meeting new people, sometimes it's difficult to meet new people. And A-Ray was connected with pretty much everybody in the school, and then once we were boys from One Piece, yeah, I was out. It was a good time from there, and that just goes to show you like anime can cause such a great friendship out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. I knew nothing about him. The only thing I knew about this guy was he watches One Piece, and boom, he was like one of my best friends at that point.
What that tells you is he's into commitment, because that is not a short show to get into. Oh man, and adventure for sure. Yeah, so you guys start this podcast, you start talking about anime, you start building this community. Over the years, we talked about like what shows like one has embraced because of anime, but what are some of the things you've learned from podcasting that you guys have picked up over the years?
Opinions. People have strong opinions on everything.
Oh, I bet. Right? Yeah, I bet.
I love One Piece. I have strong opinions on One Piece. I talk about One Piece all the time, and then that's part of like a little trope of ours in our like community is that like I'm addicted to One Piece, but I do have very strong opinions on other anime, and I know like for example, for me, Demon Slayer, like. I don't shit on Demon Slayer, but like I love the animation, but I just don't like the storyline that much. Yeah. And I just also don't like that Tanjiro himself. Like, what happens in normal shonen is that the character keeps getting stronger, and then they verse the Hashira not the Hashira, or the demons, right? But in Demon Slayer, it's like he always needs help to beat the next person. That's something I don't mess with or I don't vibe with. And then I always, vocalize that. People are always on my ass like that. Fullmetal Alchemist is another one where, I mean, honestly, I watched that when I was a bit younger. So I think I should rewatch it. And I always try giving a fair opinion. Right? I always try giving like anime chances, even if I don't like it in the first episode. A lot of people don't like One Piece in their first episode, and it's totally reasonable. So I always try, giving chances. But I've learned that people have very strong opinions and will say whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. So that's kind of where I also like. I vocalize my opinion as much as possible, and I've learned so much about what people think about certain anime, what people think about certain genres, just stuff like that, just because of podcasting, which I would have never known before. Because it's like when you don't speak to a community of people about the subject, you'll never know. Like, what other
you're in your own little
thinking.
Bubble, and you just kind of bounce around in there. That's a really good point.
Exactly. That's kind of like, for me, my bubble was me, my cousins, some of my friends that watch anime, and then A-Ray and some of the other guys over there, but that's pretty much it.
and then you go out here, you start bad mouthing Demon Slayer, and you start finding out, oh shit, there's more people in this community than just me.
Yeah, exactly. Another one's like My Hero. Honestly, My Hero's getting a lot better. I mean, My Hero's getting a lot better, but I do get a lot of like not slander, but slack for it.
I love to. This is what I'm learning from you. Okay, so definitely, One Piece, everybody loves that, but you are also kind of just like are not into the popular stuff. You're kind of like that indie guy that's like, nah, man, Britney Spears sucks. You guys got to check out this one band that's like locally plays in Denver or some random thing, and nobody else knows about. And you're just like, no, you guys are all wrong.
I think what it is which is bad. I base a lot of things on One Piece. Like it's like that's my like source to base, because One Piece was my first anime ever, right? And for me, because of the way I watched anime, One Piece did not have the best animation. So I'm someone that doesn't really care about animation too much, right? For me, I really care about plotline, story, characters, world building, right? And some people will literally not watch an anime if it doesn't have good animation. So that's where like everybody has their own things that they watch out for when they're watching a show. And I think that a lot of these newer shows, it's not that they're played out, it's that they're not as original as the older shows, but they do have amazing animation, amazing like graphics, transitions, stuff like that, which I love that, but it's not something I personally look out for as much as the other things per se. So
right. With Anime Plus, how do you structure your episodes? I know we have news episodes and discussion episodes. Going into those, what's your prep like that? And then and where do you see Anime Plus going into the future? What are your plans going forward?
Yeah, so for we'll call them like the discussion episodes, I usually try to think of a topic. Every once in a while, me and Owen will come up with something, but I usually don't tell Owen anything because it gives him like a reaction. So it'll be like a top list, or we'll be talking about like, I don't know, we'll go over synopsis of new series, stuff like that. So I try to make it so Owen has zero idea. Every once in a while, I'll give him some homework, like, yo, help me think of like, so-and-so, whatever. So that's the episodes that come on Thursdays. And then Tuesdays, I come up with, so I use a website called Anime News Network. I grab all the news, pretty much everything on Twitter, all the major news that I can, and I compile it into like one like Google tab. And then we just kind of go through all of that. So Owen gets his initial reaction, like a brand new reaction, and my reaction is kind of I'm like kind of going off of Owen's reaction, but also it's like, oh, now I get it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way we compile the episodes.
Well, and the different perspectives, I think, help so much because, Owen's coming to this information new while you're the deep diver, but also Owen is kind of the more mainstream, not to, whatever kind of, and you're the deep diver fan. So when you guys are interacting with each other, when you're sharing news, you get his reaction, and then you see like that's the reaction from somebody who's just casually watching anime. So it's a really good dynamic that you two have. I really enjoy listening. It's a blast to hear you guys talk, and that kind of like surprise reaction out of Owen is always a blast to hear. That's really cool. Where's the future of Anime Plus going? Yeah,
so there's so many different things that we want to do. We want to incorporate our community a little bit more. We just recently had an episode with one person that joined our Discord like maybe 2 years ago. And having him on as a guest was really fun. We talked about like what got him into anime. He's from a different generation than me. So there was like so many cool things to talk about. So that's definitely one thing I want to do. Another thing that me and Owen were talking about is, so we both got our significant others to watch One Piece. So I'm doing a rewatch with my wife and he's doing a rewatch with his girl. So that general reaction is something that we want to like portray in a podcast form. Obviously, we're still like workshopping it and there's so many different things. And that's some of the things that we want to incorporate within Anime Plus.
Thank you very much, Array and Owen, for joining me today. And again, welcome to the community. I can't wait to keep sharing your guys' show with other people.
And thank you so much for having us. I had a great time on the pod. Definitely love to do this, ever so frequently. I feel like having a different perspective of. I love talking to people that have different perspectives on anime, and it was amazing. The questions that you threw at us and everything was amazing. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time here, and I appreciate you inviting us.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate it.
and because you guys are part of the network, you guys will be on Geek Freaks in the future, I'm sure, talking about Marvel stuff. We got the concept art or whatever we were just talking about before we press record. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff in the future too. So I can't wait to have more conversations with you both. It's gonna be a blast. That'll be a good future ahead of us. All right, Squeaks, I'm back with you now. We're going to go over our network news. Again, we have a new show called Anime Plus. Make sure you guys check that out. Links will be in the description. Outlast Podcast Season 12 has just launched last week. Things are going well over there. For Challenge Accepted, we're covering Game Changer this week. It's a show from Dropout. And then we're going to be covering Daredevil every single week. And then over at Phantom Portals, they just covered The Crow. I've never seen The Crow. Have you seen The Crow with Brandon Lee?
No, I actually haven't.
Yeah, Brandon Lee, I think.
Yeah.
Because listening to them talk about it, I'm like, I gotta sit down and watch that.
Because there's a new one coming, right? It hasn't came out yet. But
no, there's a new one that came out and nobody watched it and is already gone, I think.
Wow, that's bad because I didn't even know it was released.
Yeah. But the old one, I had never seen it. I know of it. Hearing them talk about it over Phantom Portals, I gotta tune in on that. So, they're all covering over the Crow over there. Let's get into our recommendations for the week. Squeaks, what is your recommendation for the week?
I'm gonna have to definitely go to you know what? I'm gonna switch it up. I would say Monster Hunter, but I'm gonna give you a comic book. Okay, and I'm gonna give you.
There we go.
It's I guess fairly old now. I don't know the year now. But it's the Last Ronin Ninja Turtles, but it's the Lost Years. So it's kind of like the side story.
Nice.
Of before Michelangelo like really becomes like the Last Ronin. Now the turtles are dead still as a start off, but it's also having like an older April raising a young group of turtles. And what I like about this one is that they're branching. There's other Last Ronin comics that go past the original one with this new group of turtles. And what I like about this one is that it's got and I think it's the same name. I don't remember. I gotta look back to my original comic of the yellow Ninja Turtle, the female one. She's like a youngin in this one. I think it's Jenica. And
oh man, that came out. That was deep back here. That was good.
All I knew, I remember the J, but
yeah.
I believe that she's in this like group too, and it's like when they're younger. So. It's pretty neat, but you're getting like a definitely backstory about like Michelangelo's struggles of him just, I guess, really hallucinating.
Check this out.
Of the ghosts like are surrounded by him. And it's a lot more of that. It's definitely a lot more of like, hey, I'm driving in a car, but I got these annoying ass voices in my head. Yeah, it's called The Lost Years. Yeah.
I think I've seen the cover of that. I cannot wait for that video game to come out.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. Like, please give me this Ninja Turtle game.
It's gonna be good. One of the comic books I pick up here and there, and I just like them issue by issue, is called Monstrous. Because the art style is like so incredible. So I just grabbed the trade for the first volume. Like basically like, all right, let me go back to issue 1 and start reading through. What a world they build. Really cool, fantasy-esque world. Half the world is humans, the other half are basically monsters is what they call them, but they're basically like mutants in X-Men essentially. Like some are deformed, some don't look deformed, but they actually are still that blood. And it's a wild, disgusting, but beautifully done comic book. Very quickly you meet, sorry, I'm kind of like stumbling because I'm trying to like find a way to say this. Very quickly you meet like this one lady who's like this noblewoman, and she's eating some of the people that they enslave. Like it's wild like that. So Monstrous, guys, it's so gorgeous. It's a beautiful comic book. Okay. Check out volume 1. It's one of those books I picked up here and there, but now I'm actually going through and actually reading the whole story. I liken it to a fantasy version of Saga, not necessarily in story, but in feel and in pacing and stuff like that. So if you like Saga by Image Comics, check out Monstrous. I believe it's done by Dark Horse. So check that out. All right, guys, this is a very full episode of Geek Freaks, obviously. So make sure you guys drop us a review. You've had plenty of time to do it while you're listening to us, but you can do it right now. All right, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.